Hello everyone. Today we're going to be working with double factoring. So we worked with just plain old factoring of polynomials. Now we're going to work on double factoring. So what's the difference? Well, double factoring you have to use when the a value in your quadratic is not a 1. So what does that mean? Here's our general form of a quadratic, ax squared plus bx plus c. Here's just a general quadratic, 5m squared plus 4m minus 1. Notice that the a's in this, they're not 1. So they're not a number 1. When they're not a number 1, you have to use the double factoring process. And that process is right here. So first, we're going to work with the outsides of the quadratic. Multiplying them together will help us form our diamond. Then we'll work with the middle terms. We're going to group things using parentheses. And then we're going to find a common factor. And then lastly, we're just going to rearrange it so we have our answer. So there's not too much to it, but the process may get a little bit confusing. So let's start out with this example right here. So we have 5m squared plus 4m minus 1. So step number 1, we want to multiply the outsides. We want to multiply a and c. So step number 1, I'm going to multiply a times c, which is 5 times negative 1, and that equals negative 5. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, you have to make your diamond. How you make your diamond? Put AC, what you just found, on top. So negative 5. And what you want to write on the bottom is the B term. Our B term is 4. So I'm going to write down a 4 right here. Now complete that. Complete your diamond. So let's find our factors. We have 5 and 1. That's all we have, so we have to write that down. The big one always follows the bottom. That means the negative has to be with the 1. All right. Now you want to watch these sides. Use them in step 3. Step 3 is the middle term. So let me write this a little bit better. So the middle term is this 4m. What we're going to do is replace it with 5m and negative m, or negative 1m. So I'm just going to rewrite the first term, 5m squared, right here, just rewrite it. Now the middle term, that 4m, I'm going to replace it with 5m and negative 1m. And I'm just going to add the negative 1 after that. Okay? Next, we did number 3, we want to do number 4. Number 4 is parentheses. We're simply going to group them a little differently. So, I'm going to take 5m squared plus 5m. The first two, I'm just going to put parentheses around them. Then I'm going to write a plus sign. And then I'm going to write this last part, negative 1m minus 1. So I just put in parentheses. Okay? Next, what I want to do is find a common factor. So take out the common factor in this grouping and in this grouping. So find what both of these values have in common. We'll both have a 5 in common, and both have an m in common. So I'm going to, for number 5, step number 5, I'm going to pull out a 5 and I'm going to pull out an m. If I take a 5 away from this and an m away from this, you're just left with m. And if I take a 5 away from this and an m away from that, it's just going to be a 1 because there's nothing there. I took away all I had. Next, put in my plus sign. Excuse me, actually I'm not going to do that. What can I take away from this bottom term, this second term that each has? Well, each has a negative 1, so I'm going to take away a negative 1 and put that on the outside. If I take a negative 1 away from the first term, I'm just left with m. If I take a negative 1 away from the second term, I'm going to be left with a plus 1. Notice, when you do this correctly, both things in parentheses should be the same. I have an m plus 1 and I have an m plus 1. They're both the same. That means I did it correctly. Now all you have to do is write your answer down, and it's actually right there. So I'm going to write the answer up here. This is step number 6, rearrange. So what you do, write down what's in parentheses, so m plus 1. And next, for your last bit of parentheses, write what's in front of the first one and the second one. So there's a 5m in front of the first, and a -1 in front of the second. So that leaves us with our answer. This right here, number 6, is our answer. If you expand it, you'll get out what we started with. So let's do that real quick. I'm simply going to do the box method. So let me do that right here. I have 5, -1, I have m and plus 1. This makes it 5m squared minus m, 5m minus 1, 5m squared minus, plus 4m minus 1. Is that what we started with? Yep. So we did it correctly. That's how we double factor. Watch the next video if you want more specific examples to work through.